And welcome back to the Holiday Extravaganza. It's day 3. Happy holidays, everybody. Welcome back. Glad to have 2 games on tap for you here tonight in the finale of the Holiday Extravaganza. We're going to start first here with Ann Arbor Huron and Detroit King. We see Detroit King, one of our top 5 teams in the PreP top 11. And then in the nightcapper, North Farmington, the host school, will take on Detroit Loyola from the Catholic League. And we're excited to bring all the action here for you. My name is Chad Bush alongside Sam Stick Day. Good to have you back in the seat, my friend. And we're glad to be here at North Farmington at this Holiday Extravaganza. Now, first off, we're set to see a fun matchup between a couple guys that have a couple teams that have head coaches that are good friends. Head coach Waleed Samaha in his 18th year against George Ward Jr. It's King and Huron. Huron made it all the way to the finals last year, Stick. This is an exciting matchup against the Crusaders.
Yeah, Huron made it all the way to the finals last year, and they did it with 9 seniors, and that's what's kind of remarkable about it, but yet they bring back a solid team this year. And we know last year, losing to Grand Blanc, they were a pretty good team last year, so no shame in that. And I'm excited to see what they got coming out tonight against, like you said, one of the top 5 teams that we have on the PreP, Martin Luther King.
Detroit Martin Luther King brings Chauncey Willis Jr. into the house, and this guy might be just the guy that is the best player not only in the city of Detroit, but maybe, just maybe, in the state of Michigan. I mean, this is a guy that folks think football sometimes, but basketball is a sport that this guy does and does well. He's averaging better than 30 points right now, Stick. Chauncey Willis is more than a football player. He's a guy that wants to play Division I basketball.
And he should play Division I basketball. I mean, it should be that simple. But we were able to call the PSL championship last year where he had a good game there. And, you know, obviously averaging 30 points a game. Anytime he's got the ball in his hand, he's a danger to score. No matter where he is on the court, he's a big body guy. He likes to drive the lane and use that physicality, use that football physicality here on the basketball court. And you could really see that transfer in his game.
You can. We'll talk to both George Ward Jr. and the head coach for Ann Arbor Huron, Waleed Samaha, as well. Huron, a team that lost a lot. I mean, you lose all 5 starters. By the way, 4 of the 5 are playing college basketball, Division II or Division I. And then you lose 9 guys in your rotation of a rotation of 9. I mean, a lot of opportunities for guys, but it's kind of a retool year, as Coach Samaha said, for Huron, but some opportunities for some guys to step up.
Yeah, and we saw that a lot during the football season, too. There were a lot of cases of, hey, this kid didn't play last year, but it was only because he had seniors in front of him, not because necessarily his skill set. And once they get that opportunity to get out on the court or on the field, usually they use that opportunity to show what they have. So I'm interested in looking for some surprises tonight.
Huron, a runner-up last year, lost, as Stick mentioned, to Grand Blanc, the Division I champion from a year ago. They are led by a couple of players. One, Adam Samaha, the coach's son, a junior who leads them with 10 points per game, a 3-and-D guy. He's known for kicking the football. Stick, this is a guy that is one of the highest recruited kickers in the country. He committed to Michigan to play football for Jim Harbaugh on Thanksgiving Day.
Well, you know where he's going to be New Year's Eve, too, watching that bowl game. So, yeah, I mean, that's a great commit. Anytime you can get recruited by Michigan, it just shows what type of athlete you are. Because if you're getting recruited by Michigan, you are a D1 guy. And you can kind of transcend the sport. It really doesn't matter. But it's good to see him out here on the basketball court, playing for his dad, and just doing it the right way, staying in shape in the offseason.
No doubt. Staying in shape, having fun, playing the game that he knows and loves. He's a gym rat. He's a river rat as well.
I love that nickname, by the way.
Isn't it great?
Oh, it's the best.
He's helped out a little bit in the backcourt, Stick, by a guy named Braylon Dickerson, one of the few guys that got a chance to play last year on that short bench of guys that were not seniors.
Yeah, and when you're talking about Braylon Dickerson, we're looking at him to slash. He's got a nice shot on him, and another gym rat type of guy that just constantly works and perfects his shot. So if you leave him open, it's going to be a problem tonight. So I'd make sure we keep somebody on him.
One of 2 guys averaging in double figures for the River Rats. Detroit King, we told you it's Chauncey Willis. He's not the only story, but he needs to be the lead story. He's averaging better than 30 points a game. He scored 36 points in their opening night loss, their only loss of the year, to U of D, 51-42. He scores 36 of 42 in that game. We got to talk a little more about Chauncey Willis Jr.
I mean, we can't talk enough about Chauncey Willis Jr. And once the game starts, I'm sure we're going to be mentioning his name quite a bit. But you said it, 36 of 42 points in that loss against U of D. That's amazing to put up that big a percentage of your team's points. So I don't expect that tonight, and obviously if Martin Luther King as a team, they don't want that, but
right.
The fact that he can do it has got to be scary.
That's right. He's got some help. He's got the big man Matthew Coffey, 6'7.5", 255, the Mount Clemens transfer. Big boy in the middle is going to help out. He's also got some prospects that will help him from football, Parks and Brown, the point guard, and Turner on the wing. It's a big group for King. They expect big things out of the PSL and the Gold. We got the head coach of the Crusaders, George Ward Jr., and we get his thoughts right after this. Thanks for watching the Prep, and our coverage of the holiday extravaganza from North Farmington rolls on. Thanks for hanging out on this Wednesday evening. Welcome back to North Farmington High School. The holiday extravaganza continues, and it continues with Detroit King, and their head coach has been good enough to join us, George Ward Jr. The Crusaders are here, off to a 3-1 start, a really good start. You've won 3 in a row. It's a new team, but the principles of this program continue. What are your thoughts so far in this season, Coach?
Well, you know, when you're talking about replacing so many seniors as we had last year, as you know, it's been tough, especially when we haven't been able to practice like that. Yeah. We have 6 guys that play football. So you're talking about replacing those guys with guys that have a championship pedigree, but still they haven't been with the program for about 6-7 months minimally. So it's been tough a little bit, but when you're talented and tough, it kind of makes up for some things. So it's been fun. It's been fun.
You mentioned all the football guys, and that's a trio that you must be proud of. They also won a state title a month ago, and so it's got to be good to have these football, basketball. You don't see a lot of that anymore. Talk about the football, basketball kids that you seem to have at King High School.
Well, let's not be crazy. When you have a football program like we have, the one thing you want to do, number one, is market your players, whether it's on the basketball court or football field. So you give your players an opportunity to play football if that's what they choose to do. I always say I don't marry myself to the players and say you belong to me for 4 years. My thing and my job is to make you as marketable as you can be and for you to explore, whether it's art, whether it's music, football, whatever the case may be. Let's get involved in it. So bringing those guys in, you're talking about championship mentality. And I've got to admit, we've got a championship culture at King High School, not just the basketball football program, but all over. So it gives us an opportunity to have some additions that know what winning is all about. So you're talking about a sport that you start off, it's 90 degrees outside. And once the season is over with, it's 10 degrees at times. So to have that kind of discipline and dedication, and to come inside and the air conditioner is nice and cool inside and the floor is wonderful, it gives our guys some toughness to deal with and some championship mentality. And those guys have just got off the field about 3-4 weeks ago. So we love that they're here, and we look forward to a long, long season, I'll tell you that.
Crusader Nation has been spoiled with some championships. They look for that in basketball this year. You had a PSL title a season ago, yes. And you carry some of those kids over. Chauncey Willis Jr. is the main piece you bring back next year, this year from last year.
Absolutely.
Chauncey might be one of the best players in the state, maybe the most under-recruited kid in the state.
Well, you could probably eliminate maybe. And, I just talked to a college coach, a Division I college coach, on my way over. And we just had a conversation. I understand the transfer portal and all that kind of stuff, but for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because Chauncey has played so well in football where people don't know whether or not he's going to play football or basketball. Maybe that's the case, but for me, let's be realistic. For 4 years, this young man has played the way you want to play. And he's probably the one player in the state of Michigan at the next level. He can play the point guard position or he can play the 2-guard position. So I think we have to be patient. I'm trying to stress that to him and his family. Be patient. We understand that whatever nickels that we've saved up for his college education, we can kind of spend them right now. But we just don't know what level he's going to play at and exactly where. But it's been a fun ride. But I tell you what, whoever he plays college for, whether it's football, basketball, whatever level it is, they're going to get one heck of a player. So it's been fun.
Chauncey Willis, the real deal, averaging over 30 points so far this year through 4 games. Let's talk about this matchup tonight against a good friend of yours, Waleed Samaha and the Ann Arbor Huron River Rats. Your thoughts on the matchup?
Well, Waleed and I been friends since we both got into this thing. To watch his program from afar. You know, you're talking about maybe 35 to 40 minutes west of us, and to watch them, you know, almost win the state championship last year. To watch his guys every year, they're in the thick of everything when you talk about state tournament. So to have an opportunity to play him in December, I would much rather play him in December than March. I'm going to be honest. You know, he lost a lot of talent last year. Yeah. He almost got that thing done. And to see him now, I watched his guys on film again this morning. They're going to run their stuff. You know what you're going to get. They're not going to turn the basketball over. They're going to be tough. They're going to take charges, and they're going to check the heck out of you. So we look forward to it, and I saw him as I was coming in, and, you know, just glad to see him, glad to see his son Adams going to the University of Michigan, probably one of the best kickers in the country. That's right. So, you know, he's playing basketball as well. Great three-point shooter. He's just a great family man, wonderful program. So you talk about championship culture, and Arbor Huron has it. We have it. So it'll be a good night.
Always great to catch up with you. We will have you again on the prep. We look forward to that. Good luck tonight, and thanks as always for your time.
Hey, Chad, I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys, and what a great opportunity for these high school kids to be able to experience something like this. We appreciate you, man.
Thanks so much.
All right.
There he is. That's George Ward Jr., the head coach at Detroit Martin Luther King. Getting set for King and the River Rats of Ann Arbor Huron right after this. This is the prep. Welcome back to the Holiday Extravaganza. Ann Arbor Huron at Detroit King, George Ward Jr. and the head coach Waleed Samaha in his 18th year. Good friends talking here. These guys stick, really like each other, and they have respect because both programs have a certain standard that they expect every season.
Yeah, and you see that out of these two men, how they lead young men, and you know that's really the point of all of team sports is to make these young kids better men, and they do that, both of them, in spades.
They sure do. We talked with head coach Waleed Samaha, and we got his thoughts on his club in this ball game and George Ward Jr. That's coming up next. Thanks for watching as we climb to the top of the hour for the start of two teams, Detroit King and Ann Arbor Huron. We're back in a moment. This is the prep. Welcome back to the Holiday Extravaganza. We're here with the head coach of Ann Arbor Huron, a finalist last year in the 2021 Division I MHSAA championship game. Waleed Samaha joins us now, Coach. Thanks for taking time to join us. This is game 2 for you in this extravaganza. Your team coming off a big win on Monday, yes, and a nice tune-up for this matchup. Talk about coming off the game on Monday and your thoughts on the contest and the victory.
I think anytime you get a chance to play in an event like this in front of a big crowd, which, you know, obviously last year we didn't play in front of many big crowds at all. So especially for our team this year being, you know, relatively new to the varsity level, any experience these guys get is great. So it was great to get that victory, and you know, we know we got our hands full tonight with this one. So
you mentioned you lost a lot from last year. A lot is just an understatement. He lost his whole team. He lost 9 guys. He brought back 1 guy who played in 1 game in significant starter minutes. So you lost all 5 starters, all, by the way, playing college basketball Division II or Division I. Listen, a couple of them. Mm-hmm. Listen, this is a new team for you, a finalist last year in Division I. Talk about the new squad.
I'm thrilled to be coaching this group. I think 3 of the guys that were on the squad last year were guys that just committed to being great in practice last year. You know, they knew coming in the minutes just weren't going to be there, but they committed to making practices their most, you know, valuable experience, and I think that's what sets them up to be 3 starters right now. So, you know, to go against the Julian Lewises and the Tyson Edmondsons and Devin Womack and Kingsley Perkins, and, you know, and Brandon Rawls, that starting 5 is pretty strong, and so those guys, they're battle tested. They've been against some really tough guys.
They've been a part of the program. They understand the principles. What are those principles of the program?
I mean, we call it the Huron way. It's you know, character, preparation, toughness, unity, and when you get all that together, you get results.
Yeah. Defense is a big part of your program. Talk about the defense, what kind of defense you run, and how you execute it, and how you've been so successful at it.
Well, defense is really, it's an attitude, it's a belief. You know, it's what we value. It's everything for us starts and ends with defense. So a lot of what we try to emphasize offensively is predicated off of the pressure that we, you know, try to instill in our guys, like to instill that kind of pressure against our opponents and get the opportunity to get out in transition. But also, I think in the half court, we try to just be sound. We're gap sound. You know, we work on closeouts and making sure we're contesting shots and winning rebounds. And our guys believe in it. They buy into it. They know that, especially with this group in particular, we're not going to outscore anybody. We're going to have to play great defense and then allow the offense to come from that.
We're with head coach Waleed Samaha getting his River Rats ready to take on Detroit King. George Ward is their head coach. We talked to him, asked him about you. We're going to ask you about George Ward and your thoughts on the head coach of the Crusaders, your opponent tonight.
George is one of my favorite people, one of my favorite coaches. He's had tremendous success everywhere he's been. King is a powerhouse. They're one of the top teams in the state again this year. We've coached together at camps over the years and with Elite 25. I consider him a friend and a brother and a mentor and a guy that I look up to and respect. So this will be a fun game. Hopefully it won't be too much fun for him.
Coach, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the way. We'll see you down the line.
All right, thank you, sir.
There he is, head coach Waleed Samaha, leading Ann Arbor Huron tonight against Detroit King. We'll have the starters right after this. This is the Prep's coverage of the Holiday Extravaganza. Welcome back to the Holiday Extravaganza. The Prep happy to bring coverage all 3 days of this tournament. And it's come down to this. The last two games, here we are. Ann Arbor Huron against Detroit King. Let's meet the starters for the Crusaders for Detroit King from the Detroit Public School League in the Gold Division and the champions of the PSL in 2021. They are coached by George Ward Jr. in his 7th season. The former head coach for the Jungleers of Detroit Southeastern, where they were runners-up in Class A in 2011 and 2013. And George Ward Jr. went to Detroit Cooley High School. All right, let's meet the starters for tonight. Terrence Brown is a running back you've heard on these airwaves of the Prep. He won a state title in football, but he's going to lead him at the point, 5'10" and 210, and a bulldog of a point guard. And he's got some Division II offers at Grand Valley and Arkansas Pine Bluff to play football. Good kid at the point guard to run the show. At the off guard is Chauncey Willis Jr. Chauncey's one of the best players in the city and the state, and he's averaging better than 30 points a game right now. Under-recruited, just a UAD offer in a Southeast Missouri State. Somebody's going to wake up and offer this kid. He's a big-time basketball player and also a football player, too. At the other guard spot, it's Lamont Parks Jr. He is a senior, and he's a guy that helps this guard rotation out. He's kind of the X factor. He's also a very good wide receiver on the football team. Travis Turner Jr. is a 6'6 junior. He's beefed up in the offseason. Good defender. Kid scored a little bit from the mid-range. Matthew Coffey's a senior. He's a big boy, 6'7 and a half, 255, Mount Clemens transfer. As we get to the starters for Ann Arbor Huron and the River Rats, coached by Waleed Samaha in his 18th year, 88 grad of Huron High School. And the starters are Percy Bates, the point guard, shooting guard Adam Samaha, the coach's son. He's a 3-and-D guy, and also the top kicker in the country in the class of 2023. Braylon Dickerson is one of the guards at 6'3", and Jay Wambier is a forward at 6'4". And Kidu Anthony, a 6'2 senior, undersized big man. We are underway. He is Sam Stick Day. My name is Chad Bush. Glad you're with us. Stick, we've got basketball finally.
Oh, it's so nice to see, too. And this is going to be such an interesting matchup. You got the size of King going up against pretty much the balance of Ann Arbor Huron. So I'm looking forward to see how these two teams feel each other out in this first quarter.
No doubt. Glad you're with us. Wambier has it in the corner. No score. Huron gets a steal to start things. High on the left, this is Adam Samaha, a shooting guard. And Kidu Anthony with it. 13 seconds left on the shot clock. Long three on the way from Samaha, no good, but an offensive rebound by Wambier. Back out, top side, Dickerson three, no. And a big boy rebound as you see the new face, Matthew Coffey, for the Crusaders.
And you can see on that first possession for the Crusaders how they're going to have to play this game. Lots of ball movement, get these big boys moving back and forth laterally, and hopefully you can hit those open shots when you find them.
Yeah, a lot of focus on Chauncey Willis Jr. as it should be. Guy who wears number 2 out there. Man-to-man defense for King. You're on a defensive-minded team. There is a shot clock tonight, you'll notice. It's being introduced here in the tournament, 35-second shot clock. Huron with the basketball, 15 on the timer. Down the avenue goes Percy Bates, the point guard. And the senior will go line right and get a chance for the game's first points with 1:16 gone by here in the first quarter.
And that's what Huron has to do. They have to use their athleticism on the outside to just get those baskets because they do not have the size to go in the lane against Martin Luther King. So as long as they're cutting and as long as they're creating that space, they should get some layups and one opportunities.
That's right. Huron is 4-0. They come to us from the Southeastern Conference in the Red Division. Other teams competing for that title are Dexter, Saline, Ann Arbor Skyline, and Ypsi Lincoln. This is a program that has gone to the state championship game a year ago, but lost 9 players from that squad. 2-0, both free throws are good, and the point guard, Bates, has the underdog team on the board. Layup attempt is errant and long from Travis Turner, and we've got a jump ball.
This is going to be an interesting jump ball. You got Matthew Coffey at 6'7". Oh, okay. They're just giving
if it was the NBA, yes.
I'm so sorry about that. I'm so used to calling those games with you.
I know, G League. That's right. We're also the home of the Motor City Cruise, who are on pause right now. 2-0. Huron with the basketball. These two defensive-minded teams jostling early on.
Yeah, Ann Arbor Huron is working the perimeter, and like I said, this is what they're going to have to do to find that open shot.
Making King work defensively, too. 5 on the timer, high on the left. This is Dickerson, their top scorer. Attack of the 10, layup no, but it's Percy Bates again who gets himself to the free throw line. He gets a chance to score 2 more points.
And there was about 0 on the shot clock, so luckily he got that off just in time because they were running light on how many seconds they had left to get that shot off. But another nice play on this end for Ann Arbor Huron.
Yeah, a patient offense. A team last year that was very defensive-minded, and that's just what they have at Huron year in and year out. This is year 18 for Walid Samaha as we look at the dribble drive that created the free throw opportunity. They lost Julian Lewis, who went on to play at William & Mary. He's doing well there. He put up 13 points a year ago. They lost Devin Womack, who's at Lake Superior State. Kingsley Perkins, who's also at Lake State. And Tyson Edmondson, who's at Lake State. And they lost Brandon Rawls to Saginaw Valley State, where he plays football. So that team is all sprinkled across.
And you wonder why they went to the state championship.
That's right. There's a three-pointer from Chauncey Willis Jr. from way downtown. That was from Milford. And it's 3-3 on the Willis introduction to the North Farmington night.
Yeah, you could tell it was about time that he touched the ball and had a big play like that.
Oh! Turner with a rejection. The big boy getting up and saying, Travis Turner Jr., the 6'6" forward, says, not here, sir.
Yeah, Jay Wambrier thought he had a nice little layup, and no. That got cleaned up real quick.
Yep. We're tied at 3. Things have started to heat up. There's an interception by Turner. He'll go the other way, spin to the rack, and lay it in with a left hand. And King has regained the lead, 5-3, on the second field goal of the game.
What a great move, too. Switching to the left hand and having a nice, easy layup. And here he is pressing the ball.
Yes, sir. Dribble drive baseline. Wambier is fouled. He was pushed. There was contact with the body on the lower end. Jay Wambier, a senior forward at 6'4". And is he going to get free throws here? They're going to say he was going up. I don't know if he was attempting to shoot. No, that's the right call. He was not going up for the shot, I don't believe. Detroit King lost the opener to UAD, 51-42. They've gone on to win 3 straight, including their most impressive win right here in this gym on the 11th of December earlier this month, 51-45 over Detroit Catholic Central. Ball out of bounds back to King. They forced the turnover. This thing hasn't been pretty. We thought there'd be some defensive-minded teams going at it. So far, it's been all defense.
Yeah, well, we knew they were going to be feeling each other out. That's what you get when you have these tournaments against teams that aren't super familiar with each other. I mean, the coaches aren't familiar with each other, but these two teams don't match up often.
No, sir. There's a feed down to Coffey, and his left-hand layup is good. Matthew Coffey moves well. You see the good hand, soft hand stick. He's a force and a problem.
And that's how you draw up a pick and roll. That was a perfect roll to the rim, and you got the basket. Great play.
It's a 4-0 run for King. Throw back, and it hits the official's shoe, and the official was out of bounds. And so that's out of bounds. And King has a chance to continue this 4-0 run, but Huron will check some players into the lineup. They'll check in number 5, TJ Bell, along with number 21. That's Makari Mac Moore. Watch out for this kid. He's a 14-year-old freshman, number 21 for Huron. And he's one of the best young risers in the state of Michigan. And he comes off the bench as a freshman. King with the basketball high in the left, +4. Surveying this defense with 18 on the clock, down to Coffee, hook shot up and missed it, but a nice spin stick, and you see the ability.
Yeah, that'll be there for them all night long when they want to use that.
6'8", 255. It's a big beefcake down there. On the wing, working his way down and finding space somehow. Shot off the mark from Anthony, back the other way, King.
I like that the officials are letting them play, too. A little bit of both these teams want to be physical. Both these teams pride themselves on their defense, so give them a little bit. I love it.
They've kind of been letting them do that the last couple nights, I've noticed, too. It's impressive. There's a lob from Chauncey that goes just off the front of the rim. He was looking for Travis Turner. There's a long three, and that's Samaha. That's what he does. And his dad shouts at him from the bench, get back and play defense. Right corner, Turner three, that's short as well. And out of bounds back to the River Rats of Ann Arbor Huron, the runners-up from a year ago. And one kid coming back that had experience, Stick, from last year. It's an adjustment, a rebuild, a retool for them. Yet they're still talked as one of the favorites in the Southeastern Red Division.
And that just speaks to the program and the coaching. The coaching definitely transcends year to year to year, especially when you're dealing with young athletes.
Yep, both these coaches outstanding. George Ward, the 51-year-old head coach in his 7th year, one of the best in the state. And his son Jaleel Ward went on to play at Fort Wayne Elevation Prep Academy. There's a layup, and it's cut in half. The lead is at 7-5.
That was a nice assist by TJ Bell.
Coming off that bench, there's a block and a takeaway by Anthony, the undersized big man. He's put together well. Mack uses the screen, kicks it out right wing to TJ Bell. Huron trying to tie or take the lead. Samaha finds his man Anthony in the paint. Well defended. Chauncey, pass, Aaron.
Yeah, it's one of the cardinal rules of basketball. You never throw a bounce pass to a big man in transition. You always want to keep it up high for him because it's so hard for him to get down low, get that ball, and then get it up 10 feet in the air.
Yep. Chauncey gets points for being thoughtful.
Yeah.
It was a nice thought.
He was
Don't
open.
they say it's the thought that counts?
Not on the scoreboard.
Tough coach. Wow. Banker up, no good. Sounds like Tommy Gearhart was your coach.
He definitely was.
Rebound back the other way. Chauncey Willis with it. He hit a three-pointer to get King on the board and tie the game at 3. 3 free throws for the River Rats. And they've got 1 bucket, and that's it. 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Chauncey dribble drive baseline. Behind the back pass, but a turnover. And Willis has as many turnovers as points early on. The potential Mr. PSL and Mr. Basketball, a slow start in this one.
Yeah, but I like what they're doing. They're trying to establish Matthew Coffey in the paint. And they keep trying to get it to him and pull it back out. If it's not there, they repost him, then find a different angle to get it to him. So they're going to keep working that because that's what will wear down Ann Arbor over time.
Ann Arbor Huron is 4-0. I'm sorry, partner, go ahead.
I was going to say, Chauncey can get his whenever he wants to.
That's right. There's a shot that's blocked. Shot was blocked. Going up was Mac Moore, the freshman. Welcome. Chauncey setting up the defender. King likes this matchup. Another low pass and another turnover from Chauncey. Quick ahead. TJ Bell. Got his own miss and missed again. Third crack, no. Is there a fourth crack? No, sir. 44 gets the ball. Willis, layup, rejected by Mac Moore, but a foul called And going to the free throw line is Jordan Bakeman, line left. Helter-skelter partner. Well, they had a 3-on-1. That time Chauncey with a nice dish. And he gets his teammate 2 free throws. This is Jordan Bakeman, a 6'2 junior guard. George Ward is assisted by Joseph Mack and Keith Bates, along with Carlos Carter, Omar Ziegler Sr., and Janois Jackson. First free throw's off the mark. As we get another look at all these attempts. How about Huron? Pesky on the offensive glass. Free throw's no good.
Yeah, that offensive glass stat is it's a tricky one, though, because that means you're also missing a lot of shots, too.
Yeah, that is true. 60 seconds left. Dribble drive, reverse layup, no. But how about the first step by Percy Bates? Unable to finish.
Yeah, it was there.
Into the game for the Crusaders is number 13. That's Aaron Waldron Jr., a senior 5'8 guard. Good defender and a coach on the floor. Long 3 on the way, and that's a brick for Lamont Parks Jr.
You saw Ann Arbor Huron double teaming Matthew Coffey on that play.
Dump pass, and we've got a whistle. Was it going up or before the shot? I believe before the shot. What did we have back here, partner, with Coffey?
You could just tell that Ann Arbor was adjusting to what they were doing by trying to post him up, so they weren't letting the backside defender follow his defender all the way through the paint. He was kind of laying back, so the double team if they got it down low. And you could see some frustration on Coffey's face, too, because you know that they were trying to get him the ball.
Yeah. And these coaches are going to have some chess matches all night.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to go back and forth. These are some very good coaches. And George Ward Jr. and Waleed Samaha. 27 seconds left. To the hole, no good for Percy Bates. River Rats trying to get another turnover, and they get a foul here. King's going to keep it.
A physical first quarter. Low scoring, too, because of the physicality. If you get down in that paint, expect to take a bump on your way up.
Not a lot of offensive rhythm in this game yet. Too much talent, though, to not get something rolling at some point. Similar to the St. Mary's King game we saw last year. Dribble drive, Chauncey short on the shot. Rebound saved, but a travel called, and that is the right call. Watch out, James Ferris, that's our cameraman and creative director. He's a creative director, playing cameraman.
He does it all.
Can we get a shot at James?
There he is. Oh, he just dodged it.
Okay.
Oh, now he's getting yelled at by the ref. He's got to move out.
Oh, look at
They're clearing him out.
He's getting a little mouthy too. Come on, Ferris. He gets a dead rat on his camera, and all of a sudden he thinks he can control that baseline. Attaboy. Give him heck, Ferris. 6.9 seconds left.
Oh,
that
wow.
is stolen away. Stolen away by Bates. 4 seconds left. Dickerson. And that is how the first quarter ends. 7-5. And this is a slugfest in North Farmington. We'll take a quick timeout, come back with the second quarter and a word from our sponsors.
Today I'm going to tell you about sportsmanship because it's important. Treat your opponents the way you would want to be treated. My mom says that. Listen to the referees. It's their job. Be nice to their team and our team. Cheer them on. Always play fair. It's the right thing to do. It's sportsmanship. It's not that hard.
Want to tell you about our friends at Work 365. Contact James Gonzalez and the great crew over there. Get ready for New Year's. Don't wait for New Year's to happen before you start getting into that routine of working out, getting in shape. Get ready now, 248-875-3188. And you can email them info@work365fitness.com. Work 365, elevate your preparation and your fitness to the next level.
Yeah, watching those training videos and how they do with their kids, it's amazing what they do with the specialty training now.
Yes, and congratulations to Jermaine Gonzalez, the new head coach and athletic director at Orchard Lake St. Mary's, and brother of James Gonzalez.
Great player.
Outstanding player, great man, and very excited to watch the Gonzalez regime begin. There's a short shot that's missed, and the rebound ripped away. The River Rats are down by a deuce, 7-5. King on top, the champions of the Public School League in Detroit from a year ago.
Yeah, the matchup I was really interested in watching in that first quarter played out to be pretty good. Percy Bates and Chancey Willis, they're going to be going at it all game long, so it's nice to put those two on each other. They're similar in size.
Yes, sir. Into the game for King is number 12. That's Daniel Hayes, a junior guard at 5'8". Down low left block shot, walled up and blocked by Turner. 14 on the timer, just underway second quarter. Leading scorer so far in this ball game, 3 points for Bates for Huron. And 3 points for Chauncey Willis, that's it. One on the timer, shot at the buzzer, up, count it, and the foul. Hoop in the harm to tie the game. And going line right is Bates, who's been a bulldog so far, has a chance to give this team the lead.
Yeah, and I feel like he's been all over the court, too. You know, he's getting steals, he's getting in the lane, he's causing frustration for Chancey, and you know, him getting to the free throw line in an and one, obviously with points at a premium, that's a huge play.
Sure is. This is a young man that's athletic, very competitive, mainly a facilitator, and he's got that assignment of checking Chauncey Willis all night. That's a full-time job and overtime, but not time and a half.
Nice half-court press working out.
Steal by Wambier. He has it top of the circle. His team up by 1 after the three-point play was made. Wambier to the rack, and he lays it in. How about the right-hand dipsy-do? Jay Wambier, Drummond Green-like.
A little bit of English on that.
3-point lead, the largest for the River Rats, who are on the run. Layup, banker, good. Unselfish play. And Kidu Anthony with a finish, and here come the boys from Ann Arbor.
This half-court press has really changed the momentum.
7-0 run. As the River Rats out to their largest lead of 5, trying to stop that run is Waldron. His 3 no good. Chauncey gets it back. Long 3 on the way, no. And the rebound ripped out by TJ Bell, and the River Rats, here they come. +5. Huron making some adjustments. This is Dickerson, who's been quiet in this game. Ooh. And a hard fall. We saw so many hard falls yesterday in that game.
And that was after the shot, too, and after the play. So those, you want to avoid those at all costs.
Yeah. .6:13 to go, 12-7 your score. Ball out of bounds, baseline right. This is Adam Samaha to trigger, the top kicker, that's right, in football in the state of Michigan, and some have him between number 1 in the country and number 10. He misses the 3 ball there. Rebound by Turner, and here comes King back into the game as their point guard, Terrence Brown. Chauncey around a screen, 19-footer, count it. Silky smooth, and that big body of Coffee helped set him up.
Yeah, in the first quarter they were trying to pound it to Coffee in the paint, and this quarter they brought him out to set a pick and cleared up some space for Chancey.
Left wing 3 on the way is long. Offensive rebound, stick back is short. Mack missed it, and the war there is won out by Hayes.
The 5'8" guard ripping down rebounds.
Chauncey to the hole, scoop past to Coffee, laying good. And here comes King. They've cut it to 1, 12-11.
You can feel Chauncey feeling like he's got to kind of put his impression on this game right now. Ann Arbor Huron came out, they went on that little run, and since then he's had a shot and an assist.
Mackmore is hit to the floor. No foul called. Ball out of bounds, baseline right. 5 points for Willis to lead the Crusaders, and 6 points for Bates to lead Huron. 5:02 left until the break. tight defensive battle in the second to last game of this extravaganza. What do you think so far of the shot clock?
I like it. I enjoy it. That was one of my least favorite parts about high school basketball is when a team would get up and run that weave at the top for just like 45 a minute. I've seen a minute 30 run off the clock at some times.
Right.
That's really cheating the game.
4 on the timer now, and a foul on the perimeter from Turner that is going to make his head coach, George Ward Jr., a little bit more gray in the beard. George Ward Jr. played for the outstanding head coach, Ben Kelso, and won 2 state titles at Detroit Cooley High. Want to thank our crew. Look at George Ward Jr. Such a treat to talk to him today a couple times, both on air, as you saw in the pregame show. By the way, you can find our game after this broadcast on demand on theprepsports.com. Free throw up and good. This is Braylon Dickerson, who averages 10 points a game. Dickerson in this game, though, has just scratched the surface. 14-11, 4:35 to go until halftime. 3-point lead for the River Rats.
And here they are with their half-court press again.
Causing chaos. Cross-court pass is picked off by Mack. On the run, lay-in, no. Stayed on the lid and coughed out.
Ooh, he's going to regret that one. Put a little too much spin on it.
Yep. Detroit King, a school with 941 students out of the city of Detroit. Left corner, Willis, 3, no. Ball out of bounds, baseline left, stays with the champions of the Detroit Public School League. Oh, no, I apologize. Incorrect on that. Huron will get it back.
Nice look at this layup that he was not quite able to hold on the rim right there.
Yep.
Those are heartbreakers, too.
They sure are. George Ward Jr., the head coach. The principal is Damian Perry, and Barry D. Cannon is the athletic director. Jay Alexander is the athletic director of the Public School League of Detroit. And we want to thank Tamika McEvans as well. Some great folks over there. Kyle, all the fine folks at the PSL, great to work with. Pull-up right wing jumper, short from Chauncey. Bell with a rebound. He's on the push. Doesn't have numbers. Takes it anyway. Layup good. Nice. Sometimes you gamble.
Nice little Euro step to get by the defender. And, you know, he had the opportunity to pass it out, but that was a good take.
Yep.
Smart play. And after every made basket, this is what they're doing. They're getting them in the half-court press, and it's causing a lot of problems.
Ton of chaos. Steal T.J. Bell again. He's a fine player to the rack. Mack lays it in. He is a 14-year-old. He's 6'2", and he is a player. 18-11, the River Rats lead by a touchdown in North Farmington.
And another thing this press is doing, it's forcing them into a high-tempo offense, so they don't have to deal with the big men getting down the court.
Bounce pass, Coffee, two-hand lay-in is good, and that is all too easy. Nobody has a Matthew Coffee in Southeast Detroit. I mean, this kid's 6'8", 255.
He's a house in the paint.
Miller, top side, feeds it back. 5-point lead. Coffee in this game with 6 points now to lead the way for the Crusaders. 7 on the timer. Mack, short corner left, swatted out of there. Bakeman, back the other way. Lay in good. Terrence Brown Jr., the touchdown king of Detroit.
And we better give Chancey Willis the assist on that. That was a beautiful no-look pass as they were running down the lane. Look how they filled the lane on after this block.
How about the rejection by Bakeman to start it? Willis, the no-look. That's fresh. Lay in good. That's our play of the game right now. Willie Mena is your statistician tonight. We appreciate him coming on board for the prep. Alex Westfall, your executive producer. Chase Kaufman, your assistant producer. Evan Westfall on the scoreboard. Rob Sarna on camera tonight, along with Kyle Buchanan and Fish on a camera on the baseline. James Ferris is your creative director. My name is Chad Bush alongside Sam Stick Day on color commentary. Thanks for hanging out. This is one of 2 games today. The nightcapper is a game that you'll want to stick around for. North Farmington, the host school, against the Catholic League's Detroit Loyola.
It's going to be a good matchup. A lot of up and down basketball in that game. Looking forward to it.
Should be a good one. Right here is a good one. 18-15. Huron's on top. King is led by as many as 5 in this game. Huron's led by as many as 7 in this game. But reality's been somewhere in between. Huron 4-0, King 3-1. King's only loss was the opener to UAD. The Cubbies from the Catholic League Central Division won. And a nice win, 51-42 for the Cubs. And a tough loss for King. But King didn't really have a lot of the guys that they felt could have helped them win. But George Ward Jr. said, no, we got outplayed. I'm not making an excuse, but we didn't have Matthew Coffey, our center. And we had our guys that played football that just played 10 days earlier. But it did not slow down Chauncey Willis Jr., who went on to have 36 points out of the 42 scored by the Crusaders that night.
Every time I hear that, it's just incredible. I wish I could have watched that game because they'd be like, why don't you double team, triple team, put 5 guys on them, do what you got to do.
Crazy, man. Coffey, right block. Banker, no good. Might have rushed it a bit. 150 left. Laying good to the rack with confidence is Mr. Bates. And he now has 8.
His game has transcended so far in this first half. He's putting the team on his back and keeping them in this defensively and offensively.
Huron shooting 46%. And King shooting 31%. Coffey chases one down in the corner, and it's poked away and out of bounds. 5-point lead for Huron with $1:26 to go until the break.
That's a good matchup here for King.
Chauncey with a spin and a finish on the baseline that's beautiful. King within 3.
Excellent footwork. He was able to back the smaller guy down and just absolutely abuse him with that footwork.
No doubt.
Huge bucket.
Triple. That's him. That is the coach's son, otherwise known as Mr. Samaha. That's right, Adam Samaha with a big triple and the largest lead of the game. Bell, lob, threw it away. Actually didn't throw it away. That probably was on the receiver, yeah?
Yeah, and I really don't mind that type of turnover. That's an aggressive turnover. You just got it. You're pushing the offense, and that's what Ann Arbor Huron has to do. You see it when they slow down and the lane gets clogged. They really have a rough time finding their offense. But when they get these steals and get out in transition, they're a dangerous team.
Yep. Huron has wins over Ypsilanti and Lincoln. They won by 15. They beat Skyline by 6. Down low, lay-in, off the glass is good by Chauncey Willis Jr. He now has 9 points in this game, and it's a 4-point contest.
Yeah, you could tell when the second quarter started that he was going to really start putting his imprint on this game.
20 seconds left. Huron also knocked off Saline 41-39. And on Monday night right here, they knocked off Southfield A&T 58-51. So they played in some tight games, and they also have wins against a couple of league opponents in Lincoln, Skyline, and Saline. Right now, there's 19.7 seconds left, and the River Rats look like they're going to be happy with taking the final shot and taking at least a 4-point lead into the break. What do you not want to do here if you're the Hurons?
Turn the ball over. You kind of want to hold this for the last shot. Obviously, the shot clock's turned off right now, so I wouldn't give King another chance to score.
Agree. Samaha kicks it back. Bates sizing up Willis. This is a wonderful matchup. Fade away at the buzzer, and that is a defensive job won by Mr. Chauncey Willis. We got a dandy. We're glad you're with us. Stick, your thoughts on the first 16 minutes of this contest?
Well, the first 8 minutes were kind of just the teams. It was kind of like a boxing match. They're in there just feeling each other out. And then in the second quarter, you could start to see some teams impose their will. You saw Ann Arbor Huron find a little bit with that half-court trap leading to some fast break points. And then you also saw Chauncey Willis start to get his scoring going and understand that, okay, we've tried to feed the ball to the big man a little bit. It's not working out exactly the way we wanted to. I'm going to put this game on my shoulders. I'm going to keep my team in it for now till we can find that rhythm.
Right now they are in it. Willis has 9, and this game is a 4-point contest with Ann Arbor Huron. A bit of a surprise early on. They've got a 4-point lead over our number 5 team in the Prep Top 11, Detroit King. We're back in a moment with highlights and much more. This is the Prep.
As the voice of Michigan student athletes, the Student Advisory Council's role
is to convey the message of how high school sports are supposed to be played.
We are responsible for helping the MHSAA maintain a positive and healthy atmosphere
so the interscholastic athletes may thrive.
We believe athletes should be competitive,
sportsmanlike, and excel academically.
We believe students in the stands should have fun,
but not take the focus away from the game.
We believe coaches should act as teachers,
helping student athletes develop while still keeping high school sports in perspective.
We believe that parents should always be positive role models
and be supportive of their child's decisions.
We believe officials commit their own time to high school sports.
And respect should always be shown and given to them.
The most important goal for student athletes is to enjoy high school sports
while keeping a high level of respect between all those involved in the games.
Enjoy the game!
Chauncey Willis got things going with that three-pointer. Little rejection from Mr. Turner. King early had established themselves, and then back came the River Rat stick, a little unselfish play.
Yeah, in the first quarter, the River Rats, they only had 5 points. And then in the second quarter, they were able to put up 18 by forcing the action, playing great defense, and getting out in front, not letting Kings set their defense. But here we go. The second half is underway. Looking forward to see how these coaches made adjustments at halftime.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Huron basketball to start the second half.
Yeah, Piercy Bates had a big first half, and I expect him to come out and try to establish his dominance in the second half as well.
He does. Matthew Coffey let his hair down. A little different look with the hair in the second half. There's a jump shot off the mark. Coffey's there, and so far, maybe that hair was the difference.
Hey, it's working, you know, a rebound and 2 points. So already within the first minute. So it's already looking better with the new hair.
A little springy. Bell starts the second half for Huron. He earned it with his play. TJ Bell, just 2 points, but had established himself in the rebounds category with 4 of them. There's a whistle down low, and we've got free throws coming. See who the foul's on. The foul, it looks like, is on number 2, Chauncey Willis. And that will send number 24 to the free throw line for the River Rats, and that is Enkidu Anthony, a 6'2 center. Undersized center with the low-top Nikes. Free throw up and no good. Free throws in this game.
Who's the foul on?
And that is the first missed free throw of the game. Second. 4 of 6 is Ann Arbor Huron. King 2 of 4. Both free throws are off. And here comes King.
Nice turnover.
3-on-1. Huron all the way. Percy says, I know I can do it and I'll finish it. Sat out last year due to COVID. Said, I just, sit it out. Otherwise, he would have played. But again, an inexperienced guy, but a very productive fella. Tussle for the ball on the floor. And what's the call? Turner was down there along with Braylon Dickerson.
Yeah, I don't know what the call is on the floor, but I love this all-out effort by Turner. Get on the floor, get dirty, get that ball, and that's what King is going to have to do to scrap their way back in this game. Because they're having a rough time finding the rhythm, but that's the type of play that sparks everybody.
Sure does. We'll see how they respond in the ball out of bounds baseline right play. Into Chauncey, rise and fire, 18-footers too strong. It's kept alive by King and Turner. They'll keep it baseline right. King has shot 39% in this game. 50% for Ann Arbor Huron. Entry pass. Terrence Brown into Coffey. Up and under, pretty move. Counted and a foul by MC.
And you love that inbound play. Instead of bringing it back out to the top of the key and reestablishing the guy on the post, you just kind of throw it over the top of the defense and let the big man go to work. He got fouled about at least 4 times on that play alone.
The state is on notice for this young man. This is a big man, and these are hard to find. He misses the free throw. But Matthew Coffey's special really improved his game as much as anybody over the last 9 months. No D1 offers yet, but this is a kid that could be a Division I player. Big man, you see the range, you see the size. He let his hair down at halftime. George Ward Jr. said, just let your hair down to relax.
That's good coaching.
10 on the timer. Right point. This is Anthony, the big man, against the big man on the perimeter. Not what you want with 3 on the shot clock. Long 3, Dickerson, no. It's an air ball and a very fine defensive set for Detroit. Martin Luther King. George Ward isn't happy, though.
That's something they must have talked about at halftime, about getting up on your defenders and making sure you're closing out.
Yes, sir. 2-point game. Huron leads it. They've led since about the midway point of the second quarter. This is Terrence Brown Jr., and he's going to take it to the hole and lay it in. Nice. 2 touchdowns and an interception in the state title game. Stick, you called his name a lot in football.
Yeah, and a nice little hesitation move on that drive.
Oh, the hezi.
Yep, able to separate and get the bucket.
So King has tied it in a quarter of a century aside. Don't leave him alone. Samaha is off the mark from downtown. He does have a 3-pointer in this game. 4:50 left. Chauncey steps through, goes offhand, left hand with a floater. And back the other way goes Anthony coast to coast with a lay-in. How about your 5-man going baseline to baseline, Stick?
Well, and that's the thing. When you're undersized like they are, and even at that big position, at least the guy can handle the ball and get up the court. That's a big difference with a smaller ball handler.
Sure is. Left corner dribble drive, that's Lamont Parks. Kick out right side. And Chauncey now will circle back to the top side. Entry pass, Turner missed the short one. Not even Coffey could tip that back home. River Rats clinging to a 2-point lead. Samaha holds.
It's interesting because you haven't really seen the half-court press from Ann Arbor Huron so far in this second half.
Yeah, you thought you'd see it maybe a little bit earlier.
I wouldn't have gone away from it ever.
Right, maybe reserving some energy.
Yeah, maybe just strategically using it, you know.
Floater, short corner left is no good. Here comes Chauncey Willis Jr., 3-on-3. He'll take it himself. That pull-up is fresh. Chauncey Willis Jr. is for real. And if you're a Division I head coach right now, and you're not going to think about signing this kid, your head's not right.
Yeah, the art of the mid-range jumper, and he has it. Nice behind the back, able to pull up right in front of the free throw line and just drain it. And that you could see him shooting like 95% from that spot.
He wants to play college basketball, coaches.
If
he was offered by Central Michigan to play wide receiver for football. This is a kid that has the chance to play at the next level, yes, but I mean at the next level in 2 sports, George Ward Jr. thinks. He thinks that highly of Chauncey Willis Jr., not just as an athlete, but he says his mind's right. He comes from a good family, a tragic loss of his sibling last year, but this is a guy in Chauncey Willis Jr. that I know you think highly of, and he's got choices, but he leans and wants to play college basketball, where the offers really have not come since U of D Mercy offered his sophomore year.
Yeah, and you know, being somebody who went to U of D Mercy, I wouldn't mind if he graced the court of Callahan Hall. But at the
architecture major,
there we go. but overall, you know, he definitely should be getting more looks than just U of D. But I do like that U of D is actually recruiting in the city. They haven't done a great job of that over the past couple years. So it's nice to see that they're reaching out, because to me that's been one of the weaknesses of U of D.
I agree. Get kids local.
Yeah.
Where are all the local schools? We saw Eastern Michigan here yesterday. I mean, if you're Chauncey Willis Jr. and you haven't gotten an offer from some of those local mid-major schools, I don't know what they're missing. I really don't. 3-pointer left side, no good. Samaha's had an off night shooting the ball. Chauncey to the rack. Look at that explosiveness. Go sign the kid. Go sign him. Who doesn't want to sign him? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, he hears us talking about him, so he definitely wants to put on a show. What a first step to get by his defender.
He's just getting ready, shaking off the rust. He's still in football mode, where he was an all-state wide receiver on a state championship team for Detroit King and won the Division III state title. Shout out to Tyrone Spencer, who's won his 4th state title.
Another great coach at King.
Outstanding coach, and a King grad.
He's feeling it now.
King with a 2-point lead. Coffey in the paint, up and under, and that is beautiful. 31-27, King coming alive in the 3rd.
The big man using his body to get there, but the pass, my goodness, a no-looker right to the big man and able to get it done. That was his second no-look pass of the game today, and both of those have been huge plays. Look at this. Woo! He was looking at the fence like nobody was over there.
Chauncey Willis setting up the big man Coffee. We want to tell you about the Horatio Williams Foundation. The Horatio Williams Foundation, Leadership for Life. And we're really excited for their tournament coming up on Saturday, January 15th, 1 week after our tournament up in Grand Blanc. And this is a tournament that's going to feature River Rouge against Warren Lincoln, Davison, a team we called yesterday or 2 days ago. I can't keep these days straight. Davison against Harper Woods, Pershing, the Doughboys who we called in the PSL championship game against King.
Another great nickname.
The Doughboys, no doubt. Warren Fitzgerald, the opponent there. And then in the nightcappers, Kalamazoo Central comes across the state. They'll take on Hamtramck and Robert Davis Jr. Detroit King, who we're watching now, will take on Grand Blanc, the Division I state champions. And DEPSA, who we saw yesterday and called, will take on Ferndale. So a nice lineup. All that happens at Ferndale High School in Ferndale, Michigan. I know one of your favorite cities. Support Horatio Williams. He's sponsoring this tournament. It's on Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. And come on out and check this tournament out in Ferndale. The Horatio Williams Freedom Classic.
I love all these little classics that are popping up and just getting these teams to cross and play out-of-division games. It's fun and it's good for the kids.
Yeah, it is. And they do a fine job here with this holiday extravaganza as well. Todd Negocian in North Farmington has been a wonderful host. They'll play in the nightcapper. King with the momentum here. They're +4. Huron trying to get some momentum back. Coast to coast, Mack, the freshman, lays it in. He's 14, folks, and he's willing this team back. They're within 2.
That was an amazing take for a 14-year-old. I didn't even realize it. I know we've said he's a freshman a couple times, but you see him out there, body type, the way he plays the game.
Yeah.
When he evolves into his full body, he's going to be a crazy good player.
How about that crazy good pass? Dead spot right, 3, no good. Don't worry, he'll chase it down. That's Lamont Parks Jr., one of the best athletes around. All open for 3. Don't do that. Terrence Brown, no. And they're going to get Matthew Coffey with a tough poke away nickel dimer on the perimeter. Tough call here.
That is a tough call because as the big man, sometimes you just got to be big, and sometimes they don't like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Talk to Shaquille O'Neal about just being big.
It's hard. I was born with this wonderful big body. Not me.
Oh.
Are you? Hey,
man,
I wasn't talking about me.
Slipped into your memoirs real quick.
Hilarious. It's too big right now. You're right. Oh, man, there's a shove to the ground unintentionally. Is that on Coffee? If it is, what number is that, Willie? Is that 4? I think it might be. Did they get Coffee? They did. He got Anthony to the ground.
That was he was going to the ground, but he also bumped him, so you got to make it a call.
Yeah. Shot, short, missed. Mack on the ground getting dirty. Coffee to tie it up. We got a jump ball. We got a nice shot down there from Fish.
Coaches are debating if they got a timeout in or not before that jump ball.
Okay.
The refs are saying nope.
Travis Turner, the 6'6 junior, checks in for King. Matthew Coffey will sit down. And we believe Matthew Coffey has committed the foul, and that is number what? Is that his 3rd, Willie? Yeah, we think it's his 3rd foul. And that's a concern. George Ward has to go get him. 2-point game. What a dandy. Under a minute to go in the 3rd.
Here Ann Arbor goes back with the press. Every time there's an out-of-bounds ball, they bring out the press. They just haven't scored a lot this quarter to do it.
Very timely. 20 on the shot clock, 44 on the game clock. Chauncey Willis doing what he wants. To the rack, draws the foul. And he's going to try to create and get some points at the free throw line. Chauncey leads the game with 13 points. Matthew Coffey with 12. Those two have 25 of the 31 for the Crusaders.
And as they should. Those are the two big dogs. Those are who you want up and down the court feeding each other. And when they've connected in the pick and roll, it's been very effective. Because what do you do as a defender? Do you pop out and try to cover Chauncey, or do you follow the guy that rolls to the rim?
Good two-man game there. Chauncey quenches on the first. He now has 2 touchdowns, otherwise known as 14 points. A couple of dimes in this game, too. 41.8 seconds left. King now enjoying a 4-point lead. Their lead has been as big as 7. So is Hurons. But all that was in the first. It's been in between and tight since. We get a foul too close for comfort is Travis Turner. And George Ward Jr. concerned with his team's fouls right now. He's fun to watch, isn't he?
He's like, guys, we're calling the full court press here, but that doesn't mean mug him when he has the ball in the corner.
The 51-year-old head coach who played at Detroit Cooley, graduated in '88, won state titles in '87 and '88. They won a state title when he left, too, in '89. 33-31. Sorry, partner.
Here we go again after a made basket, the half-court press.
This is a press that is tough to defend. It's a 2-2-1 zone press, and he is known for this.
It's a great press. I mean, honestly, how effective has it been since they started doing it in the second quarter? That's literally what got them in the game and is keeping them in this game. So really, on their end, obviously, you want more made baskets, but defensively, they need to make baskets as well.
That's right. You saw the lay-in there from Enkidu Anthony. You get a look at the bench for Huron. This is an interesting bite, I thought. Waleed Samaha, the head coach at Ann Arbor Huron, is in his 18th year, but he took 1 year off. And he took a year off to go to the University of Michigan and be the director of basketball operations for John Beilein. It's like getting a calling, right? It's a vocation. You get a calling. When John Beilein calls from Ann Arbor, you come.
Of
and
course.
So he says, I need you to be my Dobo. Can you come do it? Waleed says, you know what? I'm going to do it. My son's in 8th grade. I'm going to do it before he gets into high school. And he did it for 1 year. And Michigan went on to win the Big Ten tournament. They slid off a runway. Remember that whole fiasco with the runway and the weather and all that in 2016?
Yeah, they kind of like united the team for some weird reason. They all experienced life and death together, and they came back better.
Well, he was a part of that, the head coach of Huron. Waleed Samaha was the director of operations. And as you know, a lot goes into that. So they won the Big Ten title. They went to the Sweet 16. Matthew Coffey in the paint. Baker is good. And the bank is open at Farmington Hills at Comerica. That's how the half ends. King on a run. His name is Coffey. Have a couple. This kid is something, and he gets King out to a 4-point lead. Let's go to the replay of Coffey.
Yeah, look at him just using his size down low, and you like that he gathered himself, was able to come over his shoulder, keep the ball high. Because that's the one thing with Ann Arbor Huron, they don't really have a true big. You know, they got a lot of guys 6'4", but not too many 6'7", 6'8" guys.
No, sir. We got a dandy. Don't go anywhere. The fourth is coming up here on the Prep.
All right, this is Adam. Take 2. Mark?
I guess.
I go like this.
The best part about playing football in Texas has to be the reaction from the community.
I want to encourage others to play volleyball or choir because you get to experience new things and do stuff that you've never done before. My reason why is passion.
My reason why is pride.
Four-point lead for King as we enter the fourth quarter. Hey, don't forget, we've got a great matchup coming up tonight, this afternoon. Live soccer coverage on the Open Road Network. And some wonderful games being played. It's the Legends FC Holiday Friendly, the women's Pro-Am soccer. It's at the Legacy Center Fieldhouse in Brighton. Lots of great games. Check that out on YouTube. Live soccer coverage presented by Open Road Network.
My man Fish will be checking that out. I can guarantee it.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Fish,
okay.
a big soccer guy.
Fish is on the baseline running the camera tonight. Samuel Fisher in his hometown of Farmington Hills. on camera 3. Let's start the fourth quarter. We got an off-the-ball foul, and this is going to go on number 24 for Huron. It's an offensive foul. What happened?
I really couldn't tell. It looked like he was just trying to get down into the paint and maybe got a little too physical on that one.
7 seconds in. Quick whistle. King with the basketball, and not for long because the 14-year-old is going to go coast to coast and lay it in. Not really coast to coast, half a coast. That's Makari Mackmore. Remember the name. The freshman has given Huron just a 2-point deficit.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching him for years to come.
6 points in the contest now. Bates leads Huron with 10. Anthony with 8. 15 points for Chauncey Willis Jr. That's half of what he averages this year through 4 games. Make it 15 points.
But if you look for Ann Arbor Huron, it's pretty balanced scoring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 guys have scored for them, when really only pretty much 3 or 4 for King.
Yeah, that's right. Terrence Brown Jr. with just 4 points. He goes right wing. Chauncey for 3. No, in and out. But a friendly bounce back to the top side. This is Terrence Martin Jr. Bounce pass. Left block, layup. No, fouled. Fine sharing of the sugar by the Crusaders in this offensive set as they lead by 2.
And you saw Ann Arbor Huron just go in a flat-out zone there as well, trying to get just King off their rhythm a little bit. So if King can start hitting their jump shots, they'll probably break that zone soon.
They throw the whole kitchen sink. It's a team that just doesn't beat themselves in Huron. Known for that 2-2-1 zone press. Aggressive team. Coach George Ward Jr. said they're aggressive with a puppy or a pit bull. It doesn't matter. They're going to come at you, and they sure have. A lot of respect between these two head coaches. The first free throw quenches for Travis Turner. Nets them both. Back to a 4-point bump for the PSL's champions in football, state champions in football, Detroit King.
And man, were they a fun team to watch this year on that football field.
That's right. Benny White, Dean of Discipline, that school as well, one of my favorite people. Head coach at Birmingham Groves, works at King. Off the bounce, first step, shot up, no, but a foul, and I don't know who they're going to get. I believe they're going to get number 13. They are. That's on Aaron Waldron Jr. Bates just bullies his way to the bucket, doesn't he?
That's what I was just going to say. You love the physicality of his game. I mean, I've been talking about it since the first half. He's really just stood out on the Ann Arbor team. He's big, he's physical, he gets steals, he gets assists, he gets rebounds, he does it all. He fills the stat sheet.
He does. He misses the free throw, though.
Got to make those.
You do. Free throw shooting in this game, not too delightful if you're Huron. They're 4 of 8. And in a tight game like this, those are things that you look up at the scoreboard and, oh, you're down 4 points? Well, you missed 4 free throws.
Yep, those are free points. That's why they're called free throws.
That's right. Splits the pair, though. It's back to a 1-possession game. And here's this 2-2-1 press that is patented by Mr. Walid Samaha. I want to keep calling him Salama. It's a little more fun to say. 6.5 left, 3-point game. How about that dish from Chauncey to Coffee? A little cream with a coffee, and his name's Chauncey. 5-point lead.
And not only can he score, his assists this game have been so impressive.
Sure has. Coffee controls the paint. Two-handed rebounder. George Ward Jr. says, look, I teach a two-handed rebound, and this young man does it. Chauncey for 3. Splash City! The big dagger triple and the biggest lead of the night. It's Ocho for King.
A little scissor kick action on that, too, when he let it go. He knew that was going in right off his hand.
Oh, it felt good. Chauncey eyeing the defender. Got that look in his eye. Look at that. Out for blood. Look at that. I mean, tight defense. Mack throws it away. The King defense leads to a 3-on-2. Chauncey's pass nearly picked.
Looks like we got a player down here on the other end for King.
It's Travis Turner holding that right knee. Travis will get up slowly. This is a young man that's very good on the defensive side. Is beefed up, as you see in the offseason. You see that nice cut right at his shoulder and his tricep? He didn't have that last year. And George Ward Jr. is concerned and going to take a look at a 6'6 junior.
On that play, Makari Moore followed through, fell down, and fell back right on his right leg. So, just, oof. Man, you hate to see that.
This is an important piece of the paint. Anchors that backside, and you see it here, just falls down after the Huron player took a seat. Want to tell you about the prep and opportunities that we have for you to be a part of our team. You can become a sponsor today. We've got a couple different buckets you can be a part of. The G League's Motor City Cruise, the Detroit Pistons minor league affiliate. Games that you and I call. And there's sponsorships available today. theprepsports@gmail.com. You can email us. We also have sponsorships available on the Full Court Prep, our high school side. We've got a lot of high school basketball action coming. 20 total games at minimum remain on the schedule, including a big event that we've got coming up on the 8th of January as Travis Turner, this is not a good sign, is helped off.
Yeah, you hope it's just like a minor hyperextension, no tears or anything, and he can come back eventually. Probably not at this game with 5 minutes left in it, but you just hope this isn't a long-term injury for him.
This certainly, from a game standpoint, takes away a lot of their size, length, athleticism, and defensive ability. You'd think that they would slide in a guy like Jordan Bakeman, perhaps, into that slot, but yeah, this is a tough miss, and you hope that Travis Turner is fine. Meanwhile, King has a little bit of a cushion. They've jumped out to an 8-point lead. This is their largest. And Stick, hey, Ann Arbor Huron all of a sudden, who led by 7 just before the break, finds themselves in an opportunity where they have to come back.
Yeah, well, King was able to come out and put up 16 points in the third, and Ann Arbor Huron was only able to do half of that with 8, and so far in the fourth, they've outscored them 7-3. So they've really turned it on in this second half, and the press has gotten a few things going for Ann Arbor Huron, but not nearly as effective as it was early on for them.
That's right. 32 points combined. They get 34 points combined between Chauncey Willis's 18 and Matthew Coffey's 16. King basketball +8. 3 on the way. Splash City. 11-point lead just like that from an unlikely source. Terrence Martin Jr. off the bench. Guy that's a shooter and is not gun shy and just a sophomore, and he gets a rebound here. So opportunity knocks for a guy who's going to step up. I thought Bakeman, it's Terrence Martin Jr., the 6'2 sophomore.
And that's the benefit of having a team like King has. You can just select the guy off the bench, and they're going to come in and play hard and play the right way because of the coaching and just the program that they have there. Yeah. You know, they've gone through JV and they've gone through freshman ball. They know what to expect when they step out on the court.
That's right. They lost Jaleel Ward, Omar Ziegler, Davin Walker from a year ago, a team that won the PSL championship. 11-point lead, poke away a much-needed steal by Huron with 5 minutes left. To the rack, left-hand layup short. Good wall up there. And length by Coffey. One good turn deserves another. Showtime coming up. Oh, boy. Oh, man.
And that's what we call a frustration foul.
Yeah, Braylon Dickerson missed the shot, and that's a tough one. You feel for the young man.
Yeah, the crowd's groaning. You know, you're on display in front of everybody, and you just come up short.
He was in between a layup and a dunk, and you got to make a choice, and he made the decision too late and missed the layup. It's embarrassing, but it happens to everybody. If you played the game.
It's happened to me. And I'm embarrassed
when
it happened to me. So, you know, you get over it, you learn from it, you understand next time. I'm just going to lay it in off the glass.
That's right. 1-1 is missed. So that's a big miss. And coming right back is Percy Bates, who says enough of this.
And he's got that in him. Whenever he decides, you know what, I'm taking this to the rim, he gets to the rack. Now, whether he converts his free throws or not is yet to be seen. But you can tell when he wants to get there, he's got the body to do it.
He does. He's got that competitive blood in his body, too. And he's had to guard Chauncey Willis all night. Right wing three, need it, and they got it. Is that Bell?
Yes, sir.
Bell again rings it from downtown. Shot misses down low. And what do we have here?
The big man went for the alley-oop dunk, and then he got fouled on the way up, but that was about to blow the roof off this gym.
Oh, man.
The crowd is into it right now.
It's picked up. The energy, the scoring, the excitement. The players are playing, and this is one of the key pieces. Matthew Coffey, a new addition, a transfer from Mount Clemens, 6'7.5", 255. He's put together well, and he's got a nice soft touch. Not on that free throw, but don't let that fool you. This is a guy that's really skyrocketed the last 9 months. If you're looking for a big man, this is a senior that can help somebody. And he's just developing. He's got a brother as well on the roster, Jonathan Coffey. He's an inch shorter and a year younger. 8-point lead. Free throws missed. Is that 4 straight free throws missed? 4:08 to go. Bell with his team down 8 to the lane. Shot up, no, but he draws a foul from Coffey. That's number 4 on Coffey, if our math's right. Matthew Coffey with his 4th foul, and this is big right here. Put an asterisk next to that one. George Ward with the decision.
Yeah, Matthew Coffey, he's good at moving his feet, but once you get him going laterally, he's been picking up a lot of fouls just because he's out of position. You know, once he comes together a little bit more and he gets his footwork a little bit better, he won't have to pick up those fouls because he'll be right there just to contend with his size.
Yep. He let his hair down, and in the second half, he's been a different player. 16 points on the night. This is a free throw attempt, though, from Bell with the clock stopped. And wouldn't you know it, the long gunner misses the freebie. King goes to the bench, makes a substitution. Terrence Martin Jr. checks out of the lineup. They'll check back in their smaller piece of the lineup, and Aaron Waldron Jr. King leads by 8, 4:01 left. King leads by 7. It was Ann Arbor Huron that led by 7 in the first half. King also led by 7 in the first half. We've had a seesaw battle here in Farmington Hills. Glad you're with us. Thank you. Terrence Brown Jr. with the basketball near sideline. Left point, Chauncey. Long 3 on the way, no. Back iron banker and a reset, an offensive rebound back to Coffey, who threw it away. Woo. River Rats trying to make it hurt. And Samaha could not.
That would have been a big three-pointer to get them back within 4 points. Under about 3 minutes left to go in this game.
All right, time to get a Mountain Dew. Maybe a coffee. You want one? All right. Cheers. 3:17 left. It's a 7-point lead for King, but you get the feeling that Ann Arbor Huron is not done here tonight, and they've got another punch coming.
Yeah, you've seen it all game long. They have the effort, they have the intensity. They just haven't been able to knock down that big shot when they needed it. And most of their offense has come off that press like we've been talking about all night. So they need to force some turnovers here, get out in transition, get some easy buckets if they really want a shot to get back in and win this game.
No doubt. Want to tell you about our friends at Work 365 and all the great things that are happening in Sylvan Lake, led by James Gonzalez, Orchard Lake St. Mary's grad. Give him a call, give him an email, 248-875-3188, or you can email him at info@work365fitness.com. Elevate your fitness. Get right. It's the new year. And if you want your athlete to dominate their sport, get the top training and coaching in athleticism, nutrition, and mental toughness from Work 365. They have fitness professionals that specialize in sports training, and they'll quickly fill the gap between where you're at and where you're destined to be. Greatness is within you at Work 365. Chad Bush alongside Sam Stick Day. 7-point game. King basketball, your thoughts on the remaining 3:17 left?
Well, if I'm King, I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing, working Chansey and then working it down low with my big man. And like I said, if I'm Ann Arbor, I'm trying to force these turnovers and get out in transition because that's where we've been most successful.
Yep. They're going to force the turnovers or try here. 14 on the shot clock. It indeed, as my partner suggested, Chauncey Willis with the last shot. 8 on the timer. Short corner right jumper. Missed it. They get the miss, and they get the rebound from Bates, and here come the River Rats. Bates leads the charge. Back to Samaha for 3. No. The offensive rebound and a reset. They'll get another chance. Samaha gives it up. No, he doesn't. Keeps it. 3 ball, no good. Will he get another chance? Sure he will. 3 ball, this time is good by Samaha. 3 cracks is a charm, and it's a 4-point game with 2.5 left in North Farmington.
It's just playing the law of averages, man. Eventually it's going to go down. Just keep shooting, big man.
That's right. Fearless. Samaha. He's a kicker. That was a 45-yarder. And we get a foul. It's an offensive variety foul. Danny said so. And this one is going to go on who? We don't know. No clear indication. But Huron's making a run. They've hit 5 straight.
And I'm really liking Makari more. They're obviously involving him a lot on the offensive end, but they're on the defensive end, challenging and getting in the lanes and forcing that foul. As a freshman, I've been very impressed with him.
We saw Big Mac on Monday for Canton. We're seeing Little Mac here tonight. We've got one more game. Do you have one more game in you?
Oh, of course.
Willie? I promise we'll get you another half and half. We'll get you an Arnold Palmer. The late game is upon us. Are you sticking around for it? You should. It's a big contest, and it's between a couple of powerhouse programs. North Farmington, who's in our top 10, in our top 11 of the prep, top 11 in the tournament, as you look at the holiday extravaganza. And Detroit Loyola will take on the host school, North Farmington. We saw North Farmington lose to Williamston. Williamston is for real. They came in here and beat North Farmington, a team that's still trying to find themselves, but stick ultra talented and ready to come back with a vengeance against the Catholic League's Loyola, who takes no back seat to anybody outside of that Central Division.
No, and they like a tough schedule early in the season. I know that was part of your interview with their head coach. But
Dennis Morey II.
Yeah, that's something that they're setting up, and it's kind of the Tom Izzo approach. Let's test ourselves early, help the teams grow, and then come playoff time, we've already been battle tested.
Yep. That's it. We're excited to see that. Todd Negocian, the head coach for North Farmington and the fine host of this tournament. They've been great all week long. We feel comfortable here. We've got wings, snob. Is there anything left? There's one left. Somebody eat that, will you?
Oh,
Willie?
I got you.
Has Willie even eaten tonight? Come on.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. 4-point lead for King, but it's shrinking, and Huron a big part of that. Can they hold on? Little Mac with it. Back to the top side. Huron getting a picky shot here, Stick. Womack for 3, no. That's Samaha, not Womack. My fault. There's not a Womack on the roster. 150 left. King by 4 and with it. There was last year, though. They had a young man by the name of Devin Womack, who's at Lake Superior State now. Now then, Chauncey Willis. They find Coffee. Long corner left. Dribble drive in the paint, no. And out of bounds, back to King. They'll keep the shot clock at 8 with 89 seconds left in this game.
But you love what King's doing there with the pick and roll with their 2 best players. I mean, why not? Put it in their hands. There's a minute 30 left in the game. Those are the 2 guys that need to be touching the ball every possession.
That's right. Ball out of bounds, baseline right. We'll see what George Ward Jr. dials up here. The shot clock needs to reset, says the man in the crowd.
I believe him.
And I think that's a good point. Now, here's a good point, and I'm glad you brought that up. They are toying with this rule. So it's a shot clock with 35 seconds, but some games they're resetting it to 15 seconds. In some games they're resetting it to 35. And then some games they don't reset it, but they're going to reset it to 35 here. So they're toying with it. They've kind of done each game differently that way, and Looks like they're going to go to 35.
I like the reset to the full shot clock. I didn't really like when the NBA went away from that. They would now do it to 14 seconds, but I prefer it that way.
Right. And they listened to you, by the way. They reset it. So kudos to you. 1:20 left. Chauncey Willis topside between the rings, getting hunted by a freshman at 14 years old who's taken the challenge upon himself.
But here's your pick and roll.
Well defended, two-timed off the hedge. Chauncey rolls to the bucket, lays it up with the right hand off the glass. No, Coffey comes flying in with some sugar and cream. Coffey with a finish and a 6-point lead. And a near steal in the backcourt, and here come Crusader Nation.
Wow, what a series of events right there. First of all, Chauncey Willis blowing by his man, using his body to get to the rim, and then out of nowhere, he comes flying in to get the cleanup, and then some good pressure in the backcourt on the back end, causing the freshman to dribble the ball out of bounds.
All started when he let that hair down at the break. He has 18 points, not to be outdone by anybody. Even Chauncey Willis has 18. His teammate, their 36 combined is all but 9 points for their total. They're going to have a lot of that this year. They've got pieces that help them, but scoring-wise, it's going to be a little Coffey and a lot of Chauncey. Free throws here.
It's going to be tough to stop that combination, too, especially once they get in the rhythm of knowing where each other's going to be on that pick and roll. That's going to be a dangerous one moving forward.
No doubt. PSL Gold teams are on alert. Cass Tech will have something to say. Detroit Western, Detroit Renaissance, who we saw prior to this. Did Renaissance win that game? We got a lane violation.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Renaissance won the game before this.
Timeout on the floor. And let's take a look at this. There's a lane violation that was called, and it was on Matthew Coffey. So take a note of that. Hey, he's helped him with a lot of points tonight. So if it comes down to it, no one's going to blame anything on him. But it could be a point, and it could be a costly one. They had a chance to stretch this to a 7-point lead.
Yeah, that was a tough lane violation because it also looked like Bakari Moore was stepping in as well at the same exact time. They probably just should have reset and let everybody shoot.
5 players for Ann Arbor Huron that have 6 or more points, led by Percy Bates, 11. Samaha with 6, Bell with 6, Mac Moore with 6, and Anthony with 8. On the other side of the ledger for King, 18 points leads the way for both Coffey and Chauncey Willis Jr. And they have small contributions from 3 other players. Travis Turner Jr. with 4. He's now out of this game, left this game at the 5-minute mark of the 4th with what looks like to be a knee injury. Terrence Brown Jr. with 4 points in this game as well. Terrence Martin with 3. That's all your scoring across the way. You get a look at North Farmington getting ready to burst through those double doors and take their court. They're antsy. They got beat by Williamston by double digits the other night. Todd Negocian, Tom Negocian, and the brain trust of North Farmington went back to the board and says, hey, look, we got Detroit Loyola. It's time to get right.
Yeah, and you want to defend the house, you know. Like, there's a lot of pride by hosting these tournaments and being the team that everybody's coming in. And, you know, this is your house. Protect it.
That's right. All right, Huron down 6, 40 seconds to work. They don't have all day. This is Samaha with it. Down the avenue, kick down, pass left, blocked to Bell, and that's beautiful. If you're a River Rat fan, it's a 4-point game, 30 seconds left, fouled quickly by Samaha, and he knows the right guy to foul. Notice he got that guy and not Chauncey Willis Jr., and it's no disrespect to Aaron Waldron Jr., but he hasn't been to the stripe to shoot free throws like this in a pressure spot as often as Chauncey Willis Jr.
And he came out of nowhere to get that foul, too. It looked a little more aggressive than it was. It was kind of a light foul, but it looked very violent.
Yeah, it looked.
It wasn't, but it looked that way.
And he went aggressively because he knew that was the right guy to foul.
Yeah, you had to get him before he got the ball out of his
hand. A lot of kids wouldn't know that, you know, and a coach's kid knows that. 33 about to check in for the first time tonight, and Aaron Waldron Jr. says, you fouled the wrong guy. I'm going to make these. Huron will check in for the first time tonight. Jackson Kiefer, a 6'3", lightly used sophomore. 29.8 seconds left. 5-point lead for King. make it 6. And the challenge was answered beautifully by Mr. Aaron Waldron Jr.
And the coach coming out to give him love, patting him on the belly.
Timeout on the floor. We'll take a quick break. We're back with a final half a minute right here at the Holiday Extravaganza. There's only one game left. This one's not over. Don't go anywhere. This is the Prep.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Half a minute left from North Farmington. This is the Holiday Extravaganza. How about today? 14 games have been played in this tournament, 5 each day. 14 are almost in the books. We got one more after this. Stick, there's 29.8 seconds left. Your thoughts on the remainder of this game?
Oh, well, you know, if I'm Martin Luther King, I'm keeping my defense. I'm guarding the three-point line like it is the end of the world. I will only give up 2s from here on out.
Fair enough. 6-point game. Will Huron go for the quick 2 or the quick 3? Samaha can't find the quick 3. Covered up quickly by King down the avenue. Bates threw it away. Well defended by Chauncey. And that is about going to do it. Chauncey with a chance to try to close this game out with 2 free throws.
And that's the guy you want at the free throw line. You know, pick up a couple freebies here, put him in the 20-point range for the game. And, you know, it's not quite his average of 30, but still a solid game.
Against a very good defensive team. Well, Ann Arbor Huron came in here tonight, and look, they were an underdog. They were 4-0. King was 3-1, but King had played the tougher schedule. Huron is rebuilding, retooling completely. And in a rebuild year, they took one of the state's top teams. We've got King in our top 11. In the top 5 to the wire. An impressive showing by Huron tonight. They're going to be a handful in the SEC.
Yeah, when they come together and they learn to play a little bit more together, they're going to be a dangerous team. That press is going to travel no matter who they play.
Yeah, got some fun pieces. So does King. Their future's bright. And Chauncey Willis wanted to put an exclamation, but he makes the crowd wait thanks to that foul. Sometimes even the fun. Look at Chauncey. He loves life, loves this game. Crowd getting into it.
As he should. If you're this good at anything, you should love it.
Yep. Central Michigan offered him a football scholarship as a wide receiver last week. This is a high major football player, a high major basketball player, some feel, although the offers have not come at the high major level. He's at minimum a MAC mid-major basketball player, but boy, I tell you what, this kid's got a bright future whatever he chooses. King defense still getting pesky with Terrence Brown Jr. Terrence, the touchdown king of Detroit.
Similar to Abe Froman, the sausage king of Chicago.
You and I are aligned pretty well in the mind. My head said that. I said that in my head at about the same time you did. That's scary.
Yeah, well, we're both children of the 80s.
That's right. Chauncey Willis Jr. gets a round of applause. He should. He has 21 points tonight. There's a banker that's good. That's for Samaha. Adam Samaha for 3. He now has 9 points. The ball game is over. There was not a 9-point shot. 52-46. It's a 6-point win for Detroit King. They knock off Ann Arbor Huron in this ball game.
Great, tough, physical game for both of these teams. You know, you could see the defenses on display on both sides. And for King, you have your 2 stars, and they both showed out tonight. Chauncey Willis with his 21, and then, of course, Matthew Coffey with his 18. Then you flip to the other side. I was impressed by Percy Bates. I could watch Percy Bates play basketball almost every night. I like that athleticism. I like the grit. I like the hunger out of him. And, you know, as soon as Ann Arbor adds a couple more pieces and gets a couple more guys that are reliable like that, they're going to be a very dangerous team because, like I said, that defense is going to travel.
It sure is. Both these teams with a bright future. King moves to 4-1. Chauncey Willis Jr., the MVP of this game. And as Stick told you, that team in Ann Arbor, a lot to be proud of. Percy Bates leads them with 11, 9 for Samaha, 8 for Bell, 8 for Anthony. We saw a darn good one tonight, but it's George Ward Jr.'s Crusaders of Detroit King that wins it. Want to thank our great crew for their hard work. Kyle Buchanan on camera, Rob Sarna on camera, Fish on the floor camera, Evan Westfall on the graphics, Chase Kaufman on instant replay, assistant produce tonight, Alex Westfall, your executive producer, Willie Mena on statistics, doing a fine job coming in here, pinch hitting a home run on the first game. And my partner to my left, Sam Stick Day on color commentary, doing a fabulous job, as always. This is the Holiday Extravaganza. Our first game is over, but so much more is to come. North Farmington and Loyola. We're going to close this one out. Open up that other link. We got another game coming at you. This is the Prep. Thanks for watching. Your final score: King 52, Ann Arbor Huron 46. Have a great night. Thanks for watching. So long, everybody.